Okay, I think I'm live. Hey, if anybody drops on here, let me know. Other than that, I'm just going to do this and try to figure out if I'm doing this right. So this is a Gothic Deacon's chair that is upside down, and I'm going to pull it apart and then put it back together with some total boat epoxies. So that should be interesting, and we'll give it a go. Let me know. Let me know if you can hear me. Anybody out there? Is anybody out there? Hi, Anna. You're the only one here. I hope you're feeling better. All the best to you. All right, let's do this. All right, I don't know exactly how all this works, so we're just going to give it a whirl and see what happens. So I've got the whole thing together now. This end and this side here are already glued together. Thanks, Anna. Appreciate that. Anna's saying she can hear me all right, so that's good. So what I'm going to do is put together this end and this one. So this guy is already put together, the two ends and the panels. So we're going to drop that down, and then this is the front. So we're going to mix some epoxies up and glue all this guy together. One thing I want to do is lay down some packing tape to make sure that I don't get epoxy all over that table, which is really nice from Rockler. You should check it out. It's really cool. This is the part where I wander all over the shop looking for the packing tape dispenser. Found it. You didn't think I was going to find it, did you? Admit it. So yeah, so we're going to glue this together upside down in these sliding mortises, right? So when that's upside down, you're going to get a little bleed out as it sucks vertically, as it sucks down. So I'm going to put some packing tape here, and we'll go with that. See what happens. So I've got this. Isn't this handy? Very nice. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, lay this down. And that way we should be able to pick it right back up if the glue drains down. Okay. The other thing I've done pre-done is to lay in these blocks that fit on this table, and these are going to be perfectly aligned as far as square goes. So I'll be able to square the whole thing off of these guys right here, if that makes any sense. Did that make any sense at all? Let me know. Okay, so audio still okay? If it is, give me a thumbs up or something or other. Okay, so here we go. This guy is going to fit in here like that. This guy will fit in here. We're just going to do another dry fit and make sure everything's good. Hi, Wim. Thank you. Appreciate it. Those comments don't stay up for very long, so if I miss a comment, let me know. All right. struggling. I told you I was going to flop around like a fish on a dock. All right, maybe that works. Something like that. So the object here will be to get this guy in there, and then that guy. So it appears to all fit together pretty nicely. Now I'm using structural epoxy for this. These guys get wicked abused. You wouldn't think that a chair that a, dude just sits in a few hours on a Sunday gets abused. But if I've learned anything in the world working on churches, this stuff gets wicked abused. So that's why I'm doing, like, going overboard with the epoxy in the joinery, just to make sure that this stuff never flexes around and all that. And the other deal is, hopefully this could be used for 50, 60 years or more. So we're going to go with it and see what happens. Alrighty, so I'm digging it the way everything feels as far as how it's going together. So one thing I'm going to do is double check. This is 13.5 inches on this guy that's already glued up here. So I'm just going to make some lines that'll give me the same indexing. So I know I'm going to need 13.5 inches to the bottom of this rail on both of these and this one. Okay. Cool. Give that a whirl. So that guy will sit there. And this is all just really about trying to get everything organized before you get epoxies mixed. Hi, Matt. How are you? Okay, so cool. So this guy's going to fit in here. Like that. So what I'm going to do is just put a random marking here. In this case, A for A. And I'm going to put B here. That could be anything. It could be Egyptian hieroglyphics. So B's goes into here. They're just going to call this joint C and C. That's just to make sure while you're in the heat of the process of the glue up that there's no dorking around trying to figure out where stuff's going. So, okay. So I think what I'm going to do is take you over to where I mix the epoxies, and we'll go from there. All right? So this is going to be the weird part. Let me know how this works. So Justin, how are you, man? Let's do this. Okay. I had a cup for the epoxy sitting right here. Who took it? It's probably Matt, would be my guess. Matt took it, or maybe Anna. I'm going to get another one just because I have no idea. I like to use these disposable cups because they're disposable. I know, right? And I buy these little popsicle sticks by the hundreds. That's awesome. Okay, so let's. I'm gonna carry you over here to the table where we're gonna do some epoxy work. All right. Okay, so and today I'm going to be using the Total Boat high performance stuff. They sent me that as a samples to kind of see how I liked it, because I've been using another company for probably 20 years. So far, I really like this stuff. So by volume, it's a 1-to-1 mix. By weight, it's 10 to 4.5. So I found that for this particular glue up, if I do 20 grams of the resin and 9 grams of the hardener, that's just about right. So then what we're going to do is add some silica thickener in there, just to make sure that that stuff is nice and gloppy inside the joint so that it gap fills, okay? So what we don't want is that stuff running down the side of a mortise and then leaving part of the mortise without glue in it. So with the silica thickener, you kind of get like this almost gelatinous type thing, and then that stays in that joint and makes it really tight, which is what we want. So let's do this. I've had this scale for about 25 years. It works well. So what I'm going to do, it's on now. I'm going to put the cup on and zero it out, okay? So now we'll go with 20 grams of this stuff. Hi, Sharon. All right, so here we go, 20 grams. This is usually where I screw up because I try to get it too fast. Easy. Easy, there's 19, 20. Not bad, not bad. Usually I overshoot that by 5 or 6 grams, and then I'm in trouble because I'm an actual moron. Okay, so hardener, we're again by weight, we're 10 parts to 4.5. So we're going to go, we did 2 10 parts with this, 20, 2 4.5 parts is 9. Okay. Hey, Dan, Ben, hi guys. Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate it. Okay, so we're doing 9 of this. Easy. What? Perfection. Perfection enough. Okay, so now we are going to mix for 2 minutes. So if you have any questions, this is a good time to have a go, because I'm just sitting here mixing this, make sure that this is where most people go sideways on epoxies. If you are ever getting soft spots or sticky spots in your epoxy, you probably did not mix it well enough. So I would recommend that you don't. Oh, Dan, so this epoxy is meant to be 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 by volume. I'm doing it because I'm mixing such small batches. I am doing it by weight, and so the conversion for that, for this particular brand, is 10 parts of the resin and to 4.5 weight. I am screwing this up badly. So here we go. 10 parts of this to 4.5 parts of this by weight, okay? So I've got 20 grams of the resin and 9 grams of the hardener. Now don't distract me too much because I got to keep mixing this. But yeah, this is where most people, where they're saying that they're struggling. Sharon, you're confusing. Where they're struggling with epoxies is they're not mixing it well enough and for long enough. Hi, Jeff. Hey Jeff, check it. Oh, total boatage. Yeah. So yeah, Total Boat recommends that this stuff goes, you mix this for 2 minutes and then add any thickener that you're gonna add. I think I got a few more, half a minute to go here. Oh yeah. Here we go. See you, Justin. Thanks for dropping in. Hi, Gord. How is it out in BC, man? Okay, so here's where we're gonna start doing our thickening, okay? So this stuff is bizarre. Check this out. You cannot breathe or anything around this stuff because it's so light. You got to be darn careful. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so that's what we've got. And again, what I'm doing here is I'm not trying to make a paste. What I am trying to do is just get this thickened enough so that it stays in that joint nice. Okay, so that's where I'm at now. I want those drips to be a little bit slower than that. So I'm gonna dump in a little more silica. And the cool stuff, I talked to Total Boat about this, and the silica powder is structural. So that's what makes it pretty cool. The first few stirs in this, you've got to be real careful with it because it flies everywhere. I mean, I've tried to use this kind of stuff outside, and you don't want to do it on a windy day. All right, so here's where we're at now. That's about what I want. Nice. Okay, so we know our epoxy's mixed well, and it's the right consistency. What was that, Anna? I missed that. I'm sorry. Sean, you're a windy day. Okay, so I'm not sure it's the best thing to use, but I've been using these acid brushes, and then what I'll do here is apply everything inside the mortise. Yeah, it's a little softer than soft serve, I would guess. Medium gloppy. I like that term. But yeah, it hangs on a brush, right? So we're going to give this a go. So what I want to do is I've cut these mortises here about a 1/16 of an inch short of the depth. So I know that there's room down there for some of this. So what I'm doing is making sure that I have 100% coverage on the walls of these mortises. And then I'll also do a little light coat here, which should take 98% of that epoxy into the mortise, which is what I want. I don't want it to bleed out and starve the joint. I want it as much as possible to go in. Okay? Got it. Hey Red, how are you, man? I have to have my reader glasses on to see what I'm doing here, but it makes it hard to read the screen. So here we go on the sides of these walls. Can you see that all right? Now I've got to hurry. This is a medium hardener, which I was just talking to Total Boat, to Jeff, and I think I'm going to move to a slower setting for this kind of project. The nice part is they have different sets, how fast they go off, which makes it nice. Okay, so now I'm going to dump it in here, this little mortise. And I'm just making sure again that these side walls are 100% covered. Okay, now I'm going to hit this guy here. There we go. So I want to put enough, this is the tricky part, you want to put enough in there that you get 100% coverage, but you don't want a mess of it all bleeding back out, because after you clamp it up, then you got to clean all that stuff up, right? Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the amount I've got in the mortises. Now again, that stuff will all be driven towards the bottom. Yeah, you definitely don't want a Wendy's Frosty. Okay, so I think what I'll do is this guy here first. And basically, I'm just doing this to make sure that I've got, this helps it slide in the mortise. And then also brings it up on the shoulder of, this side doesn't have a shoulder. I'll show you on the other one. So you're wanting glue on that top shoulder there, right? So that's what you're trying to do, is get that glue so that it gets forced into the mortise and then shoved back out and bleeds out. Then it's ready to rock. Okay, what? I missed that. Red, did you say you had to go for a walk? That's cool, man. Thanks for dropping in. All right, so that's done. So this guy is ready to go both ends. Now I'm going to do these two sides, and then we're ready to try to get this thing clamped up. So far, my use of the total boat has been nothing short of, I really, really dig it. So I got to make sure that I'm on that packing tape that I put down. Okay, and again, I'm trying to bleed a little out onto that shoulder right there. Okay, lose a little on this end here to fill up the bottom of that mortise. I got a little extra, so. Hey, did everybody see the gold leaf thing I did yesterday, the little experiment? If you didn't, I've got it sitting right here. I will show it to you as soon as we get this. So here's the dealio. This guy in my hand, I can feel it starting to warm, which means that it's ending, it's getting close to, you know, it's, the pot life is, you know, 20 minutes or whatever this is. And so this guy is starting to think about, you know, going chemically insane. So we're going to lose this and let's put this baby together. What do you say? Come on. Who's scared? Anybody scared? I am. Always scared. Okay. I forgot this. I'm still dry on this side here. So let's. The gold leaf experiment, I'm going to try to do, I'm not going to do a project with it right away, but I thought while everybody was interested, I'd go ahead and try to make a process video And then Red was saying he might like to do a knife scale with that process, which I think would be really cool. So I'm going to try to do a video that just explains how that came together, and then we'll go from there. Hey, Russ, how are you, buddy? Russ is local to me. He's crazy. Okay, just so we're clear on the gold leaf experiment, that's that guy. Now watch this thing move around. It's insane. I wish you could see it. It's crazy. Wait, did somebody say Lori was here? No way. The Lori Henning? Oh my God. Awesome. Okay. Okay, somebody give me a hand here. Okay, it went together. Oh, I found my cup I lost. All right, let's do some clampage. Yeah, I'm just going to set that gently. Easy, easy. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go right above this so that it's going to be easier to get that glue, the glue that I need to clean up. It'll be easier. Lori, did you have the Rona? What's going on? Oh, geez. Lori, don't get the Rona. Okay. Okay, so you got a little bit of time. The deal with epoxies is when they're together, like in a pot, they do this critical mass thing. So this, when it's together, it'll go off faster than when it's, spread out and in a joint, okay? Red, I probably should do that red, put blocks here, but these clamps are pretty clean and I'm not putting that much pressure on, so I didn't worry about it this time. Okay, so this one I've got to get up to that 13.5 that I measured earlier, which is there and there. Okay. So this one I'm going to put right in the middle of this rail. Okay. We're pretty good. So yeah, these, there's enough glue in those joints where it's not fighting me to squish them together. But Lori, come on over, Lori. Help me out, please. So I don't need a ton of pressure. I just need that to go in and snug up against those shoulders of those tenons, okay? So I shouldn't do a lot of damage out here. I It all feels pretty good. Now earlier I explained that I've got blocks in these T-tracks on this table here, and that's going to help me square this up. So I'm going to shove it against these and those. And that's going to put I'm pretty square that way. And we'll just double check and make sure this is right. I don't quite like that one. This one's spot on. So I'm going to need to squeeze this bottom together over here. You can't really see it from that angle, about there. But I've got about 1/8 of an inch cant in. So we're going to go ahead and put another clamp across here to suck this in, which will suck the top of this leg that way. Here we go. I can't believe I didn't know that Lori had the Rona. Are you 100% recovered, Lori, from the Rona? I hope so. I can't lose Lori. Okay. So what I'm trying to do now, I'm out of thread here, so I've got to back this off. You know what? I'm going to get a different type of clamp. This will help me. What are these called? F bodies or something like that? So you get the concept, right? If I squeeze on the bottom of these legs, then I, in effect, push the top out. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. And it's there. Beautiful. Both sides look pretty darn good. And we're going with it. Okay, so the main thing now is to get the glue out cleaned up, which with epoxy, you got to be really crazy anal about it because it's a drag to try to get that stuff flat again. You can't scrape it out like, you know, yellow glue. So what I do is tear up paper towelage and just scoop it out of those corners. So I can keep a little closer eye on the chat now, so if you have any questions or if I wasn't clear on anything, let me know. And also let me know how this is all coming off. Is it too much crazy, you know, explanation stuff, or is there not enough? Talk to me. Tell me something. So basically all I'm doing is folding that into a little V groove and then just jam it into that corner and sucking it out of there, right? Okay, bodies, is that what this is? Sweet. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Gordon? You guys are too positive. Come on, man. You got to do the internet troll thing. This is YouTube. This isn't like safe harbor stuff. You got to like tell me my beard is gray or my teeth are different color or something like that. You know, Sharon, I have used the straw trick on, yellow glue. I just don't have them here. Scott, you never have any idea what's going on, Scott. What the heck? So yeah, I do. I take these off and then I throw them on the floor, and then later on I gotta scrape all of the epoxy off the floor. Yeah, the straw trick is a great way to get stuff out of those corners. Now I'm thinking I should get some, oh, come on, man, I want pancakes. That ain't cool, dude. I'm making pancakes. Who wants one? Great. That's just great. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure that there's no huge old globs, because next week or the week after we'll be painting these, and I want to double check the square on this guy. If you have a doubt on squareness, double check it. Just double check it. It's easy peasy. And we're looking pretty darn good enough. Yes, Jeff, that's a great explanation. Yeah, the thermal mass, the huger that amount is together, the more it like freaks out. It's kind of like a riot, if you've ever been in a riot. You know, you get a few people that are bummed out. It's not that big of a deal, but you get a whole bunch of people bummed out, then rocks start getting thrown, and not that I know anything about that. But it's basically a riot, a chemical riot. Is that right, Jeff? Jeff's going, oh, geez. Berkey, quit saying stuff's a chemical riot. You do. That's new terminology we can put into the maker lexicon. So I think somebody asked, how do I get the, oh, there we go. How much more time does epoxy gluing extend the life of the joint over PVA? 2-3 times. That's a hard thing to say, Sean, but I would say what I dig about what you don't want is a failure degree. So in other words, a lot of glue joints will be really okay and strong and have a good lifespan until one point. If they have 1 pound of pressure too much, then they fail. Where what I've found about epoxy is it has a little bit of give to it, and it'll take some abuse up close to that top end of the amount of PSI that it can take before it breaks. It has a lot more high-end grip, and maybe Jeff can toss in on that and tell me if that's correct, but that's just my feeling from experience. So it has a little bit of give to it and still maintains the structural integrity of the joint. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, ask Jeff. Oops, I'm on the wrong side. I keep forgetting what side of the joint I'm on with the... Jeff, how am I going to get the whole chair in a 104-degree oven? That would be awesome, though. That would be incredible. Actually, it wouldn't be that hard to build a box and put a heater in there, now that I think about it, if you're really trying to amp up production. This will reach a full cure in an hour at 104, Jeff? That would be crazy cool, now that I think about it. Okay, I think I've got this looking pretty good. And I think somebody asked what this was. Oh boy, come on. There you go. Jeff just had a great explanation of the other thing that's coming into play here. And one of the reasons that I went with epoxy on these joints was because they're so long, I wasn't able to get them super, super tight like with PVA for PVA glue. So this has a gap-filling, structural gap-filling capacity. So it's all in there, and once it cures out, it's good to go. So somebody asked what this was. This is an upside-down Deacon's chair. As a matter of fact, let me just take you for a walk. You want to go for a walk? Let's go for a walk. Oh yeah, go for a walk. Here we go. So that's what we're looking at there. Oh yeah. So obviously we'll have a seat here, a wrapping arm here, and then some decorative bits down at the bottom. So basically these guys will go down here, and a lot of different foofy bits. You know, that's what the whole Gothic thing is all about, right? The foofy bits. That's a highly technical term. Wait. So I think we'll stand this guy up now. Let me just, okay. Hey, somebody tell me, tell me am I glitching out at all? Is my Wi-Fi doing okay? Let me know if that goes. If there's any technical stuff you don't dig, let me know that too, will you please? We're kind of doing this as an experiment. So let's try to turn this baby over and get the glue out from underneath that guy. This is the sketchiest part actually of this whole thing, and we'll go from there. Hooey. Okay, so all we have left to do is adjust this height a little bit and clean up the glue, and then we're ready to go for the day. I usually have been setting, I don't know what Jeff is, Jeff, what's your cure time on this medium hardener at about, I think we're probably about 60 degrees here in the shop. What do you think this would cure out? How much time would it take? I've been letting them go overnight, and they seem way cured out by the time I hit them in the morning. Okay, I want to try to take this guy down a little bit. Is Jeff still here? So this panel moved up slightly. I don't think this guy's going to help me. So because this stuff's so slick, this long panel here moved up just about 1/16 of an inch. So what I'm going to try to do is pull from the bottom of the leg to that and bring it down a little bit. Gord, thanks for dropping in, man. I appreciate your support big time. Sweet. Okay, so Jeff is telling us that this will cure out at 60 degrees, which is, again, on the low end of where we're at as far as how low we want to work with this particular formalization. It's going to be fully cured in about 24 hours. Anna, thanks for dropping in. Say hello to Germany for me. All right, so we're going to try to pull this panel down. So what I'm doing is pulling from the bottom of the leg to the top of the panel, which, if we're lucky, should suck this guy down. Oh, there it went. So really, there was just so much, what's that called, surface cohesion or whatever that is when there's enough slickness in there where it's just like jammed. Isn't formalization a real word? I don't know. I use that word, but it's probably not a real word. But anyway, this guy is popped down now and is right where we need to be. We don't even need to leave a clamp on it. It just moved and then stayed where it was supposed to. Works for us, right? Obviously, in my world, this is not just rocket science. We're just kind of messing with stuff. All right. So that's that. So this will be the front of it here. And like we saw over on the other one, will be foofy bits down there. And floofy. Floofy or foofy? What do you think sounds better? I think foofy bits. Or do we need the L? We probably need the L. So we'll have little, what I call bell bottoms. There we go, on the bottom. Jeff is saying minimum 55 degrees for using this stuff. That's good because that's about, in the wintertime, that's about where I keep my shop, about 55-ish. And the thing with epoxies, if you're relatively new to using them, you really have to keep an eye on your ambient temperature that you're working in, because it has a huge influence on cure times, pot life especially. So if everything's warm, at 80 degrees, all of your, parts, the resin and the hardener, they're all at 80 degrees. They act a lot more crazy than if they're at 60 degrees. Comprende? And your ambient room temperature also makes a difference. But same thing with molding and casting materials, like smooth-ons stuff. Both of those react way differently depending on the temperature in the environment. So, is this stuff smelly? It really isn't that bad. If you're really, in it, it kind of smells. But right now, I can't even smell that. So, it's no, I wouldn't put it in the smelly category at all. If we had smell-o-vision, I'd let you know. Sean, write that down. We need smell-o-vision for the next broadcast. So anyway, that was about all I had and wanted to show you. So if you have any questions, any comments about how this would be a cooler, back and forth, I would appreciate it. Let me know now, because we've been on for about 50 minutes, and if you want to throw a few questions at me, we can stay on for another 10 or whatever. So yeah, I've used some epoxies, Sharon, that are pretty nasty, and especially the old school ones. I've probably been using epoxies for 25 years or so, maybe a little longer. Yeah, some of that stuff is just beyond nasty. And I think it is really bad for you also. But with these small amounts, I mean, if you're doing a canoe or something where, you know, it's intense, you should worry about airflow. You should definitely mask up. But really, we're dealing with, you know, 30 grams of material here, literally. So it's not that big of a deal. So was there another question I missed? Wait, how do I get? Oh, there we go. How did I get into building the intricate stuff as opposed to the rest of goons that build cutting boards? Hey man, I'm a goon. I want to be a goon. You know, by training, I am a carpenter and a finished carpenter. And then basically I got on my resume, in this world, there's a thing called your historic resume, and that is the buildings that you have worked on, and their significance kind of gives you, you know, more street cred in the restoration business. I was very fortunate to get a good federally funded project on my restoration resume back in '95, and that has opened all sorts of doors. So, but you know, it's also being stupid enough to try stuff that most people won't. And the first few that I did of this, believe me, I was questioning my sanity. I'm questioning my sanity right now, to be honest. But Jeff just, if you didn't see it go by on the chat, Jeff from Total Boat just tossed in that these epoxies are low VOC, which is volatile organic chemicals, I believe, Jeff, is that correct? Which means that it's way less nasty for you than most stuff. So, Sharon, weird is good. Very, very good. It's what we do. It's what we pursue. Thanks. Hello, coffee. Take her easy, brah. Very cool. So, anything else? We'll have a go. Talk to me. So, one of the things that comes up next is these are the two smaller chairs that'll sit on the altar. Yes, Dan, the big man will say hi before we go. Did you happen to see Dave? Dave's the new guy in the shop. He comes from Elm City Vintage. David Gagne sent me this because Dave is cool. Him and Earl are getting along famously. So the next thing that happens is the what's called the Presider's Chair. And these will be the back legs. Same sort of construction, those long mortise and tenon joints. Stub tenons, so they're not real deep, but they're real long. And those are pretty strong joints. For this leg is only a couple inches thick, so you can't do crazy deep mortises to get a bunch of strength out of them. So instead we go way long and get that same gluing area that we need. So this will be pretty cool. This stands up about I think 52 inches or 54 inches tall. So it's right here, right there, and I have one more, the back panel to carve. So Scott, thanks for dropping in. I appreciate it. It's good fun. So these guys are next. I can't wait. That's going to be fun. I have the back panel to carve yet, but I've got the sides carved. I can show you those if you want. Because Dan wants to see the big man anyway, right? Here we go. We're going for a walk. Hello, big man. Did you ever notice how he's always happy? He's always happy. I like that about him. That's his job, though. So the panels for the sides of the presider's chair. So this stack here will be the sides of the presider's chair. All right, so where that stripe is where the seat will be. But I think this will look pretty cool on the sides of that guy. So this will be the top of the arm here. And then this goes almost all the way to the floor. So, what do you think? Pretty fun. All right, kids, I think I'm gonna call that pretty much it, unless somebody's got something around. Thanks, Russ. I appreciate it. Good fun. Russ and I have been friends for probably 15, 20 years. So, okay, I appreciate everybody coming in and hope this was enjoyable. I hope it was instructive, and I hope I didn't screw up too bad. Somebody will let me know if I did. So, you guys be cool, do good work, be good to each other. Berkey out. How do I turn it off? Make it go away? What's happening?